Good afternoon and welcome to another session of knowledge sharing on the Administrators Hub, which is a special edition brought to us in commemoration of the ongoing International Administrative Professionals Week 2025. In the last 1 week, specifically starting from Sunday, the Hub has been dishing out, so to speak, activities designed for our relaxation and, of course, our development. And today, grand finale, like the convener will say, today is the grand finale. And trust us on the Hub, we have brought to you a distinguished personality, someone who is known for professionalism, who herself is of a university in Nigeria. And I'm very sure she will be bringing to bear her rich experience in the process of presentation this afternoon. Funny enough, please permit me to quickly say this. I only met the facilitator of today very briefly at an official function. And during that particular meeting, I didn't even recognize her because I was expecting somebody who is highly bifocal and somebody who is permits me, somebody who is well aged. But surprisingly, she was very young, and I said, so she was one who introduced herself to me and said she's wow, because I've been hearing a lot about her. It was from there on that I started following her, and I discovered that she's indeed what I like about her. You are in a position this afternoon to agree with me or disagree with me, but please just sit tight and follow us on this journey. Before we move to the next item on the agenda, please note that on Wednesday we had a knowledge sharing on emotional intelligence, which snowballed into the discussions in the two chat series of Thursday, and those videos are available right now on our YouTube channel. If you did not participate, please do go to our YouTube channel and then enjoy those videos. I tell you, you will never regret doing so. Thank you so very much. Very quickly now, because we have no time soon, we do not have too much time. Please welcome with me the convener, the host and convener of the Administrators Hub, Ms. Adefunke Fola Oyinloye, for our opening remarks. Convener, ma. Well, I think there's a network challenge, and I'm very sure she will join us very shortly. But let me go back very quickly to what I was telling you earlier about our facilitator of today. Like I said, I've never met her. I've only met her briefly once. And like I said, she was the one who introduced herself to me, and she left quite an impression on me that material day, because she appeared a bit jovial and then very playful. But by the time you begin to follow her and you see her serious part, you will know that she has indeed balanced both joviality and seriousness on duty, in the line of duty and professionalism. I'm very sure we will also be witnesses to that this afternoon as we listen to our presentation. It's a joy. My pen is well sharpened. One of my girls, when she was growing up, would say, if she's tired of writing, she would say, my pencil is not sharp. My pencil, that means she's tired. That's when she knew. But by today, my pencil is sharp and my barrel is very sharp. And believe me, I have my daughter right beside me here to take notes. So it is on this note that I want to welcome the convener and host of the Administrators Hub, Ms. Adefunke Fola Oyinloye, for her opening remarks. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Larry Samuel. I hope I'm audible. Kindly confirm that you can hear me. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone that is participating in this event today, Saturday, April 26, 2025. I'm full of excitement because just like moderator had said earlier on, we commenced a series of events on the 20th of April 2025 alongside our administrative professional colleagues across the globe, particularly in the USA, in Canada, in Malaysia, and in Hong Kong. A day that is known as a week that is known as the Administrative Professionals Week. And we commenced activity which has been laced with all manners of educative and relaxing, relaxing programs. We commenced on Sunday by sharing with everyone what this is all about, the Administrative Professionals Week, and why we are celebrating. And we educated every of our participants, letting them know that the Administrative Professionals Week is about celebrating the administrators and the value that they bring into every organization. And then we went on the administrators of by Tuesday, they were about to commence what we call the meet and greet, where we introduced ourselves and the things that we do and the benefits that we have gleaned from the administrators of since we joined. On Wednesday was explosive as we brought in Dr. Ezekiah Falola of Covenant University, a world-class university, to expound to us on emotional intelligence and ethical practices in the 21st century workplace. And then on Thursday, we had Mr. Genesis Okube from Delta State University to talk about us on mastering the palace protocols, how we can escalate from one level to the other in our career as administrators. While Mr. Olayiwola Olalekan of Landmark University, Umuaran, spoke to us later that same day on how we can engage, influence, and impact in our journey as administrator. Aside all of this, we had times on Wednesday, which is actually the Administrative Professionals Day, because the last Wednesday of the Wednesday of the last full week of April, which is the Administrative Professionals Week, is actually the Administrative Professionals Day. And so on that day, we shared with ourselves on the platform, we appreciated ourselves, and we further went on to introduce ourselves and all of that. And today, we're bringing us another menu. Now, traditionally, the International Administrative Professionals Day is marked by sharing of gifts and flowers and appreciation notes and all of that. But we felt that if the administrative professional will be in the scheme of things in their organization, then they must be knowledgeable people. And so we interspersed the celebration with a knowledge sharing series, the Looking At series, the Hands-on Experience series. And here we are today on the grand finale, yet sharing knowledge amongst ourselves. I wouldn't say much about the facilitator for today. The moderator enough about her, and then at some point the person that's been assigned to introduce her, we introduce her to us. But one thing I am sure is that we are set for a rich diet from a facilitator today. I want to seize this opportunity to appreciate everyone that's been following closely since we commenced a series of activities on Sunday. Like I said, today is the grand finale, and I want to ask every one of us to please stay tuned. Invite all your friends. So once I leave space now, I'm going to send out reminders to every other person out there so that they can join and be a part of this valuable thing that we're doing on this platform. On this note, I want to welcome every one of us again to this special occasion. It promises to be very illuminating. It promises to be very resourceful and educating. And I want every one of us to stay tuned as we listen to Dr. Mercy, the only one and only Dr. Mercy Agumadu this afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Mercy, for agreeing to do this with us. Over to you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you so much.
Thank you, the convener, ma'am. I've earlier given an abridged version of the speaker's profile earlier. Now let's listen to the detail now, the detail of her profile. But before then, please, uh, like I mentioned earlier, the videos of Wednesday and Thursday are available on our YouTube channel. Please avail yourself the opportunity of listening to them and then building yourselves. And two, again, other information and announcement will be dropped in the chat comment. Please uh, check them out and then comply appropriately. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon I have the pleasure of inviting Mrs. Elizabeth Olawepo for the citation or the profile reading of the speaker of today. Over to you, Ms. Olawepo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, sir, Mr. Moderator. Permit me to read the profile of Dr. Mercy Agumadu. Dr. Mercy Agumadu is a seasoned chartered administrator with over 15 years of expertise in educational administration, gender studies, and strategic decision making. She is the founder and CEO of Anike Lions, a dynamic enterprise specializing in talent elevation, pioneer pathways consulting, and visionary growth solution, empowering individuals and organizations for sustainable success. She holds a BSc in Economics from Obafemi Awolowo University, a Master's in Business Administration from Lagos State University, and a PhD in Business Administration from Covenant University, with a specialization in entrepreneurship and strategic management. Dr. Mercy is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Administration, a fellow of the Institute of Personnel Management Administration, and an active member of the Association of Nigerian University Professional Administrator and the Academy of Management Nigeria, TAMN, among other distinguished professional bodies. Currently serving as the pioneer registrar of Hillside University of Science and Technology, Oke-Imesi, Ekiti State, Nigeria. She plays a pivotal role in shaping institutional policy and driving operational excellence. An accomplished researcher, Dr. Mercy has published multiple articles in high-impact journals and conferences and conference proceedings. She is also the host of the When Lion Speaks, Clarity Meets Power podcast on Spotify and a thought leader on LinkedIn, where she shares insights through a newsletter. Her first two books, manuscripts, are under review, while she actively works on her third publication. Beyond her professional commitments, Dr. Mercy is passionate Dr. Mercy is a passionate reader, singer, traveler, a devout Christian, and a dedicated philanthropist. She is
Do you have a
committed
challenge
to
with the
inspiring. She's committed to inspiring and empowering the next generation of leaders. Thank you.
I believe that's my cue. Is that my cue to start?
Are you done? Is it my network?
Yes, please go ahead, Dr. Mercy.
All right, thank you very much. I want to use this opportunity to first of all appreciate God, the giver of life, for giving us the opportunity to be, alive to celebrate this year's Administrative Professional Week. I remember that of last year, and I'm grateful to God that we're here together again this year. And I want to also, I don't know if you can assist to project my slide as I give this introductory note. Thank you. I want to appreciate the convener. She's my big auntie. She's my egbo in the assignment. I want to thank her for giving me the opportunity to be here to speak today, for giving the opportunity to even say yes. Because if she did not offer the opportunity, I'm sure I won't have an opportunity to say yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. And a big congratulations to all administrative professionals all over the world. There's something I need to let you know, that even if no one is watching what you are doing, remember that the king is watching. The king is always watching whatever you're doing. So I want to use this opportunity to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, keep pressing on, keep pushing forward, keep pushing through, keep succeeding, keep growing, because the king is always watching. And that uh, when the king watches, when it is time, according to the Bible, the holy book, it says, seeth a man who is diligent in his or her duties, said they will sit with kings and not with low life men. So that king that you will eventually sit with, they're actually watching what you are doing. Even if nobody is telling you thank you right now, nobody is telling you well done, nobody is encouraging you to keep moving. I am encouraging you to keep doing what you need to do, because the king is watching. And when it is time, when the time is set, when the time is right, you will sit with these kings and not with low life men. All right. I've been tasked to talk about traversing uncharted terrains, the role of adaptability in effective 21st century administrative practices. Can I also confirm if I am being heard clearly?
Yes, you are. Yes, you
All
are.
right.
Very
Thank
clear,
you
man.
so much.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
That, okay, thank you. There's a question I'm going to ask at the end of the presentation, but I want to ask it ahead so that you'll be prepared to answer it in the comment section when it is time for you to answer. And what is this question? The question is, if the internet ceases to be, this internet, if it stops working today as an administrator, what will you do? If the internet stops working now, and we were informed that at least for the next 1 year we won't have internet all over the world, as an administrator, what will you do? So just think about it, and when it is time for you to answer the question towards the end of the presentation, you drop it in the comment section so that I can also learn from what you would do if internet stops working. All right, let's get into the lecture. As administrators, one of the things that we do is that we walk a path that nobody has seen before, without a map. And that is a big task, where you walk a path that no one has seen before. That is why I actually love being an administrator, because what you think you saw yesterday is not what you're going to see today. Even sometimes the same challenges does not require the same solution. You have to manipulate around it to be able to solve it. And that is what we do every day, walking a path nobody has seen before, without a map. And it's let me say, well done to everyone, to every administrator, for always at least trying our best to ensure that we flow with the trend of things. There are technological advancements, there are global uncertainties, shifting work culture, so many things are changing, and there is a need for us to begin to learn and understand how to react, or not just to react but to adapt. So this presentation today is trying to explore adaptability, the role of adaptability. That's the secret ingredient that fuels effective leadership and administration in today's ever changing world. Our world is ever changing. Nothing is it's fixed. What happened yesterday is different from what's happening today, and definitely not what's going to happen tomorrow. So how do we, as entrepreneur, I said entrepreneur, sorry, as administrators, sorry, I'm an entrepreneur also. So as administrators, how do we adapt to this ever changing world? And we will examine why adaptability matters, how you can develop it, and the balance that you need, the balance is needed to implement it effectively. All right, moving to the next slide. I don't know if I my slides, do I have to control it myself, or I need to know
So
if I
you
can
can
get
control
help.
it yourself.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's it. So I want to first of all also look at the 21st century administrative landscape. What has changed? One of the major changes was the COVID-19 pandemic period. Things just moved from 0 to 100 in less than 3 months. Everything just changed. We were all locked up inside our houses. We couldn't move, but we still had to do things. The world still needed to continue. The economy still needed to continue to run. Administrators still needed to continue to work, and that defined a major change, at least in the recent times, for us as administrators. From the COVID-19 period till date, things actually moved from the pre-COVID. The post-COVID era is much more interesting than the pre-COVID era. Things just became, for me, it was a little bit easier because we had to adapt, we had to change, we had to, flow with some new things. For what we'll call them the new norms. You could hold meetings without being physically present together in a place. You could run your businesses on social media. You could do stuff. Things just changed, and that is what one of the things that is happening in the administrative landscape in the 21st century. And then currently we're in the fourth industrial revolution, and this is also fundamental in what we're doing because it has altered how organizations operate. How we operated in the third industrial revolution is different from how we're operating now. Things are changing. And then we're looking at global connectivity, where you can manage teams across continents with diverse needs. You don't have to be stuck with just being in Nigeria, and then you have to just being stuck with Nigerians. You can reach out to everybody all around the world. I remember during the COVID-19 period when they were trying to work on the vaccines, they before you have to visit labs physically, but they used Zoom. They used some things to be able to connect with each other, and they got solutions faster than when it was you needed to travel first and then settle down and then begin to work. No, we got faster results that time. And then, of course, looking at the digital transformation, there are new technologies, things, the societal, and it's shifting societal demands. There's so many beautiful things happening in the digital landscape in the 21st century administrative world. We as administrators, we need to understand these major things that have changed, or what the administrative landscape looks like, so that you know the reason why you need to adapt, why you need to be able to move with the flow or go with the flow. So quickly, we'll want to talk about what is adaptability, because that's our key concept. What is adaptability? I don't know if you can see this slide. It's a little bit. Um, just bear with me. All right. Adaptability could come in four different forms. The first one is flexibility. That is your willingness to adjust approaches when circumstances change. Don't forget the idea, what happened during the COVID-19 era and post COVID-19. I know so many universities that couldn't continue academic sessions because there was COVID. And in the other light, so many other universities were able to finish up and were up to date because they were able to adjust their approaches because the circumstance changed. So flexibility, adaptability could come in the form of flexibility. That is your willingness as an administrator to adjust your approaches when circumstance changes. Another one is resilience. That is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties and setback. That's also adaptability. You're able to recover quickly, from difficulties and setback. There will be difficulties, there will be setbacks, but how are you able to recover quickly? The next one is leadership. Looking at adaptability through the eyes of leadership. That's the essential quality for navigating uncertainty. Like I said when I started, we are going through a road that without a map. We are going somewhere without a map. That's what administrators do. And so the ability to be able to navigate that uncertainty, you are not sure of what is at the end of the road. Will you meet a lion on the road? Will there be crocodiles there? Will there be roadblocks? You are not even sure, but you just have that courage to keep moving. So that essential quality for navigating uncertainty is known as adaptability. And then, yes, the most important one is continuous learning. That's your commitment to acquire new knowledge and skills throughout life. I used to say it, I heard it somewhere and I loved it. And I used to say that the knowledge that got you to where you are is not enough to take you to where you're going. The knowledge, one not a particular knowledge got you to where you are right now. But that knowledge is not enough to take you to the next and higher level. That is why you need to be committed to acquire new knowledge and skills throughout life, because life is growth. As you continue to grow, you need new knowledge, you need more knowledge to move from one step to the other. So, adaptability can come in the form of continuous learning. That is your commitment. It is a commitment to acquire new knowledge and skills throughout life. All right. So let's better also understand adaptability. Understanding adaptability. Adaptability. Don't forget my question that I asked in the beginning, that if internet stops working as an administrator, what will you do? All right. I will request for the answer for everyone participating to drop their answers very shortly. All right. Adaptability, according to Polakos et al. 2000, say is the ability to adjust to new conditions, modify one's behavior, and develop new strategies to meet changing environments. Permit me to say it again. Adaptability is the ability to adjust to new conditions, modify one's behavior, and develop new strategies to meet changing environments. In simple terms, adaptability means you need to stay flexible, like we said earlier. You need to learn fast. You can't be sluggish about it. You need to learn fast, because the result is depending on you. The end result is depending on you. So you need to learn and move fast, and you need to move with the flow of change rather than fighting it. You need to move with the flow of change rather than fighting it. Permit me to say this, especially to some of us as Nigerians. I don't know for other parts of the world, but because I function from Nigeria, I have noticed some of us administrators, we are fighting with ChatGPT, as in AI. We're just angry with AI and ChatGPT. And what is our anger about? Oh, why is this thing making things so easy? As in, I feel, Africans sometimes we like things that are hard. If it is not tough and hard, we don't see it, we don't feel like, okay, it's what. Then you don't have to sweat, and then you get things done easily, and then we are fighting it. We are fighting. No. Adaptability means that you are able to be flexible. You want to move with the flow of change. Many times we say, oh, it will take us some years to catch up with what's happening in the other part of the world. The reason being that by the time these things get to us, we are arguing with it, struggling with it, fighting with it, trying to find a way, reasons why we shouldn't use this new technology, while others are moving with it. And by the time we catch up, eventually something else has come. And then we start questioning and querying the new things that have come. That is why I've come to you with this good news on adaptability today. You need to be able to be flexible. The world is evolving, it's not staying in the same place. The world is not going to wait for you. Things are moving. You need to be able to move with the flow of the change. Stop fighting it, move with the flow of the change. And yes, that's leading me to the challenges around adaptability. By the time we will praise adaptability all around the world, but like I said, many administrators still struggle with it, because adapting oftentimes it means that we are leaving our comfort zone. This is how we used to do it. I know we have heard that thing before. This is how we used to do it. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be until world eternal. We just don't want to leave that our comfort zone. That is one of the challenges that affect adaptability, with many administrators. You don't want to, you are just so comfortable with where you are, how you used to do it. It has to take me 5 days to write one letter. When with AI you can write it in less than 5 minutes. You just don't want to leave that comfort zone. Then sometimes it's about risking mistakes, because it's a path that has not been treaded before. You are scared of making mistakes. Like, okay, if I try to adjust to this, what if something goes wrong? And sometimes also it's also about making decisions without certainty, because you don't have all of the answers in your hands and you need to still make a decision. So many administrators try to struggle with being adaptable, with being flexible, with moving with the flow of change because of some of these things. And of course, there are many more. So without that adaptability, administrators risk being outdated, irrelevant, and ineffective. So if you are not adapting, if you are not changing, you are not moving, you risk becoming outdated because things have moved. Like I said, the world is not waiting for you. You need to move with the flow of things. And by the time you are outdated, you become irrelevant because you don't know what is currently happening. You are still holding on to your past on how to do it. And then eventually you become ineffective. Imagine if someone insists that they still need to use typewriters to type stuff and they don't want to use laptops. Imagine how the person will become irrelevant in that company. If you don't learn how to use a computer, you insist that it's a typewriter they were using, Olympia, that our forefathers used. Things kept moving. You need to move too. All right. Confirm that we are together. Can I get some emojis to show that we are together? Yeah. All right. Let's look at some scholarly perspectives on adaptability. Many of these things are being etched in literature, and we'll just look at some of them. So, like I quoted earlier, Poulakos et al. 2000, they identified 8 dimensions of adaptability, including solving problems creatively and handling emergencies calmly. Solving problems creatively and handling emergencies calmly. I'll just run through this scholarly perspective so that we can also move to the other part of the lecture. And then Eifert and Linksey 2002, they argued that adaptive challenges require not technical solutions, but emotional resilience and experimentation. And Goldman 1995 also emphasized emotional intelligence as crucial to adaptability, noting that leaders who can manage emotions flexibly perform better during change. And then Schwab 2016 also predicted that in the fourth industrial revolution, which we're currently in, success will depend more on adaptability than technical expertise. All of these scholars, what they have tried to say is adaptability is more of a behavioral science. It's more of behavioral science, your behavior, how you undo things, how you respond, how you react when things are changing, when things come to you. How do you respond? How do you react? These scholars agree that in today's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, if you have heard the word VUCA before, that's what it means: volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Administrators must be ready to unlearn and relearn quickly. The convener always says this word unlearn and relearn. She has said it so many times that I've lost count. She keeps saying anytime she's introducing the up, she keeps saying unlearn and relearn. And that is what we're supposed to be doing. We must be ready to unlearn and relearn. Unlearn the things that was in the beginning, that you think that is it, and begin to learn, and then relearn the new ways, faster ways, better ways of doing things. I had a boss sometimes ago who told me that with 3 clicks of the mouse, you should be able to solve a problem. Just click it, click once, click second, click two. That means there are always shorter ways, faster ways of resolving or solving different problems. Everything doesn't have to be that long route. Your ability to unlearn and relearn quickly gives you the opportunity to be able to solve problems faster and to be able to move with the flow of the changes that we have in the world. So, like I'm trying to emphasize here that adaptability is more of a behavioral science. It's how you react, how you yourself as a person, adjust to things, react to things, respond to things as quickly as possible. All right. So, what are the administrative practices that requires adaptability? I'll just mention some of them quickly. Sorry. Yeah. So we're looking at Administrative practices that requires adaptability. Number one is sustainability and ethics. That is, you are able to balance profit with planet-friendly practices. I know administrators are not only people that work in the university setup. We're working in different places. So we are looking at how do we balance our profit with planet-friendly practices. So how do you sustain your business as an administrator? How do you sustain your organization as an administrator and still be ethical in the process? You're sustaining, you're building, you're trying to balance making profits, sustainability with ethical moves. Those are one of the administrative practices that requires adaptability, because you need to be able to move around it to be able to ensure that whatever you're doing to sustain is not going against the planet, it's not going against the best practices, it's not going against things that makes the world what it's supposed to be like. And of course, rapid policy changes. There are Policies are changing every day. Things, our we have several leaders, especially in the government, in the arms of different arms of government, and they come up with things. Even in our organization, there are some things that just pop up. Our policies just pop up. We create policies. There is a need for administrators to be able to adapt to these new regulations. When these policies come up, it's expecting you to adapt, not fighting it. There's a need for you to be able to know how to flow with your policy changes, how to adjust to new regulations. Of course, the next one is diversity and inclusion. How do we build inclusive workplace? Sometimes ago, some of us we just prefer to work with some certain set of people, but the world has moved from that to diversity and inclusion. You should be able to work with diverse people in age, in gender, in culture, in religion, from different countries, and to be able to you know, include everyone. So those things are things that are practices that administrators need to do that requires adaptability. Of course, digital transformation. The technology is moving. Technology is moving. If you are not technological savvy now, for me, we are saying AI, we're saying ChatGPT. I'm already looking forward to the next big thing. I don't want it to catch me unawares. I'm already looking forward to, okay, what is the next big thing in AI and automation? So that by the time it comes, I can follow what's happening in the tech world, so that by the time it comes, if every Nigerian or every administrator refuses to jump on it, I may be the first person to jump on it to begin to use it. I don't want it to catch me unawares. So digital transformation, the ability to be able to incorporate AI and automation into your system, some of the practices that requires adaptability. I know that some of our regulatory bodies in the university sector, when they come to check, to review our programs, they insist they want to see files. So we have to still keep papers. I'm thinking, when will it come to a day where they don't really need to even visit physically? There is a system that they can check our papers, they can check our performances, they can track our growth, they can track even our finances if they need to, from wherever they are at the headquarters, without them necessarily traveling down. I'm looking forward to that day. So incorporating AI and automation, and of course the remote work management, of course trying to learn how to lead virtual teams. For me, I am not the one that loves long meetings. If I can avoid attending this, call yourself together and do meetings, I would try, because I believe that the meeting is continuous on WhatsApp, on Telegram. We can continue meeting and solving problems rather than waiting to gather together, then everybody says their opinion, and then later we'll now say, okay, what's the decision? I've wasted like 5 hours, and all of those things. I prefer, like, can we just do it? Something is coming up, we'll put it on the platform, let somebody jump on it, let's get feedback, let's see who can help, things like that. So we need to begin to look around, adapting around remote work, management. It makes the work faster, and it's also adaptability. All right, moving quickly to the benefits of adaptability. The benefits of adaptability. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the benefit of adaptability. Number one is better decision making. When you have flexible leaders or flexible administrators, you can pivot when original plans fail. Sometimes um, while I was preparing this, especially when it got to this part, I was going to use an example. Apologies to all the Christians on this platform. I am a Christian too. Sometimes we make our plans and then we say, cover the plan with the blood of Jesus. It's beautiful. I totally agree with you to cover your plans with the blood of Jesus. But when you are done covering the plan, remember that plans can fail, and your ability to be able to consider alternatives or adjust your strategies based on new information is one of the benefits of adaptability. So if things are not going the way you have, just because you said you have covered it with the blood, and then you insist that it must go your way, that means you are not adaptable. Adaptability gives you the opportunity to be able to be flexible, to be able to consider alternatives. We'll get to the place where you will need to ask, what if this happens? Then what will I do? What if this happens? What should I do? What, so that you have your what ifs. You have your scenario. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I know we'll still get there. You have your scenario planning down ahead of time. So, but let me just stay within this, and then we'll talk about that when I get there. The benefits of adaptability, better decision making, because you are able to make better decisions, because you have put yourself to be able to move with the flow. Put yourself in the position where you are able to consider alternatives when a particular plan or an original plan it fails or is not going to work the way you think it would work. And of course, it increases your resilience. Adaptable administrators bounce back faster from setbacks. Would there be setbacks? Yes. Would there be challenges? Yes. Would there be things that will not go the way you want it to go? Definitely yes. But the what helps you, what makes you, succeed is your ability to bounce back faster. And that ability is born out of being adaptable, because it builds your resilience. That means even if things are not going the way you want it to go, you can always, move and try to check how other things can work, which other thing can work. So it gives you view challenges as opportunities. You are not seeing challenges as the end of the game. You are seeing challenges as opportunity for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. I used to tell people sometimes when things, and they begin to apologize and say, I'm sorry, I won't. I said, I don't get angry. What I do is I learn. I don't get angry. I learn. What am I learning? I'm learning who that person is, what that person can do to me. If he can do that, that means for you to do it again, and how I need to be able to adjust to you in case you do it again the next time. So my getting angry is wasting my emotions, because what I need to do is not to get angry. What I need to do is to learn. That's being adaptable, and it helps me to be able to work with anybody anytime. We might have issues, but when it comes to when we need to work, we do our work, and then I can switch back to whatever I need to switch back outside of work. But the work will not stop just because you did something you're not supposed to do. What I've done from your actions or inaction is to learn who you are or the kind of person you are. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person, it just means that that is who you are at that time. Maybe there are conditions, underlying effects, I do not know. But wasting my emotions, getting angry, and then getting stuck and not be able to move forward is not what I would do. What I would do is look at that as a challenge, look at that as a learning point, and then begin to look for opportunities around it to grow. And then, of course, adaptability helps team motivation. When you have leaders or administrators who model adaptability, it inspires confidence and creativity in others. You are not that one straight jacket kind of leader or boss. You are able to create a culture where innovation thrives, because when you adapt, you encourage innovation, because you are looking at how else can we do it. And when you ask the question of how else, that's innovation. How else can we undo this situation? That is innovation. And of course, it gives you the opportunity, the competitive advantage. When you have organizations who are led by adaptable administrators, you innovate faster and you outperform rigid ones in rapidly changing markets. We have examples of that. When we have the BlackBerry. I think one of the we celebrate at our we celebrated at our university the week, and one of our speakers mentioned BlackBerry. They are no longer, at least in Nigeria. I don't know whether they are somewhere else, but that the challenge of not being able to adapt to change with the flow. Even Nokia almost went off market because they were trying to be rigid. Because other phone companies came and they began to put camera in front, camera at the back, double camera, put fingerprints, just to appeal to what people will need per time. While some others decide they just want their phone to look the way they don't want to change. So if you as an administrator and you have lots of you in a company, organization, or institution, and all of you are adaptable, you will do faster and better than the others who are going to be rigid and refuses to change. All right. Are we still together? If we're together, just give me some emojis. Let me know that we are together. Let me know that we're together. All right. Okay, thank you for that. I can see some emojis. What are the key skills for adaptability? That there are skills required for adaptability. Number one is critical thinking. Critical thinking. You need to be able to evaluate situations objectively. You need to be able to evaluate situations objectively. When you want to critically think, you are opening up the issue to the barest minimum and picking it back and repiecing it back to form a new solution. Critical thinking. So you are evaluating situations objectively. The next one is emotional intelligence. We were taught that during this week, during while the other speakers were talking to us in the course of the week. Emotional intelligence is very key. Like I told you, the adaptability, being able to adapt is a behavioral science. It's something about you yourself, a behavior. So you need to be able to understand and manage emotions effectively. It is part of a key skill for adaptability. Things are not working my way. How do I manage it? How do I respond rather than react? All of these things are things that you need to understand, are key skills for adaptability. The next one is collaboration. You need to be able to work, productively with diverse team. You need to be able to work productively, not just the emphasis on the word productively. You need to be able to work productively with diverse team. Those are things that help, that key skills for adaptability. And yes, technological proficiency. I cannot overemphasize this. You need to leverage digital tools for administrative efficiency. There are so many tools available, so many tools available. I don't know, some of you, some of us who may be following me on my social media platform, you see some of the flyers, that I do them myself. I do them myself. And I don't need, sometimes I didn't even need to have a laptop to do my designs. I had to look for, okay, which of this app can work on my phone, where anywhere maybe a thought, a nice quote drops inside of me. I don't lose it. I just quickly go to my Canva. I use Canva. Go to my Canva and I design a flyer and I put it up and it looks so beautiful. And I'm learning every day to do it better. I'm seeing some other features in Canva. So instead of saying I don't know how to do until the ICT people come before you do stuff, until I don't have a laptop. There are so many technological things that we can do that can help our work, that can aid our work. As long as I have my phone, I can write a letter, I can sign it. So I'm not limited to being in the office to sign documents. My office, my phone is my office. I can sign a letter, write the letter, push it to my boss, my vice chancellor to look at it to approve. And immediately I get approval, I can sign it and design it and send it to where I'm supposed to do on my phone, anywhere I am in the world. Technology. So those are key skills. You need to learn it. They are there. They are there. We need to learn. We need to leverage on these digital tools. It makes our work faster. It makes it efficient. And of course, decision making under uncertainty. You need to be able to make informed choices with limited information. That's ability to adapt. You may not be able to see all of the picture at the same time, all the time, but your ability to be able to make informed choices with the little information that you have, just to keep you moving, is one of the key skills for adaptability. All right, moving on. We I'm talking about developing adaptability skills. Yes, it's just like a continuation also of what I began to talk about. Sorry, because I have to move the slides. Staying curious is one way to develop adaptability skills. You need to always be willing to learn new things. Be willing to learn new things. Seek out diverse perspective and unfamiliar concepts. Don't say it is not in my field. The world has gone past it is not in my field. It learn just be willing to learn new things. What's happening in the political setup that can affect me as an administrator, university administrator? What's happening in the tech sector? What's happening in the monetary sector? What's happening, in the banking sector? What's happening everywhere? You need to open your mind to be able to get diverse perspective and even unfamiliar concepts. Curiosity drives the continuous learning necessary for adaptability. You want to be able to move with the trend. You need to know what is moving so that you can move to. If you don't know what is moving, you may not be able to know how to move. So you need to be curious. Stay curious. It's not a bad thing to be curious. It's actually fantastic if you're always asking the question why, how, what. Ask the question. Be willing to learn new things. And yes, like I said before, develop emotional intelligence. You need to be able to understand your emotions and manage stress during changes. Change is the only thing that is constant. Every other thing is not constant, but change is constant. So you need to be able to understand your emotions and manage stress when there is a need for you to change. Because most of the time, these changes requires you to go to leave your comfort zone, to leave the terrain that you are used to. So you need to recognize how emotions affect decision making and learn how to regulate responses to uncertainty. Very important for you to develop emotional intelligence. And then, yes, this was what I was saying before now. Practice scenario thinking. Prepare for multiple possible futures, not just one. Like I said, you have covered your gigantic, beautiful plan with whatever you want to cover it with. But it's important as an administrator who is ready to be adaptable to regularly engage in what if exercises. What if rain falls? What if NEPA takes light? What if the current dollar price increases? What if you need to ask your what ifs based on that plan so that you can have an idea of what you need to do in case that thing happens? It strengthens your mental flexibility and preparedness. You're ready for that change in case it happens, in case you need to move, in case you need to change your direction. You are going somewhere and then you're asking, what if there are too much potholes? What if there is a police checkpoint? What if, okay, which other route can I take? So you need to consistently practice your scenario thinking. Don't just do a straight line one way jacket. It doesn't work that way for adaptability. So, and the truth is, when you have that exercise, when you do those, when you have those multiple possible futures, it gives you that little peace of mind that you know what to do in case something happens. Sometimes I always appreciate our women when they organize parties. They will have put all of the scenarios in place. What if meat finish? Okay, let's do fish. What if we invited 150 and 200 people came? We say let's prepare for 250. What if women, we do it a lot when we are preparing for a party? It's the same concept. Let's just bring it to our workplace as administrators. And yes, we need to build a growth mindset. There's a need for us to believe that abilities and intelligence can develop with efforts. We need to view challenges as opportunities to grow rather than threats to avoid. Challenges are opportunities for us to grow rather than threats that we need to avoid. And of course, let's seek feedback regularly. I think I'm getting my time. I don't know how many minutes I have left. I can be very excited when I'm speaking. So if there's a need for me, I don't mind if I can get
Yeah,
the
yeah, you have five minutes left, ma'am.
Okay, okay, all right. I will just run through. Thank you
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much. Okay. So there's an opportunity, there's a need for you to seek feedback regularly. Embrace constructive criticism to keep improving. Create systems for receiving honest input about your performance and adaptability. Let people know. Find out, did I do well? Did I do good in this situation? Even though it didn't go the way we wanted to do it, and we still did it this way. Was I able to move easily? Was I able to adjust easily? Was I able to respond faster, or very quickly? So it's very important for us to seek feedback regularly. Okay. I'm trying to. I may not be able to finish all my slides because of the time I have left. So I'll just let me just. So what are the challenges in adaptability? I'll just talk about one of them, and it is that resistance to change. When we just feel reluctant. Sometimes it's an employee that is reluctant. We employees are reluctant to change. Sometimes it's our bosses who are reluctant to the change, and so that is one of the challenges in adaptability. Sometimes it is bureaucratic hurdles. We like bureaucracy a lot sometimes, and these rigid policies and procedures can actually slow response time. Like I was saying about when we have some of our regulatory bodies visiting us, and then we have to provide lots of papers. When we can digitize all of these things, and they can, at one click in their office, they can check how we are doing. Even they can do it monthly and check how all of us are doing per month. All these bureaucratic hurdles can also uh, prove as challenges in adaptability. Of course, skills gap. When you don't have workforce or leadership or people who have the necessary capabilities for effective adaptation, if you don't have the skills to move, there's a solution that a technology is going to provide, supposed to provide, and you don't even know how to use it. There's no way you want to adapt or change to use that technology, even if you don't when you don't know how to use it. So, and then the fear factor, of course, when you are scared of failure. And I said in one of my while I was speaking some few days ago, like I heard it somewhere and I love it, that failure is not the end of the matter. It's this telling you how not to do it. Failure is that part of life that tells you how not to do it. So that fear factor, that I don't know, what if I change from my normal route? What if I fail? That can also be a challenge that makes people not want to be adaptable. And I need to also talk about balancing adaptability with consistency, because just because we say you can change does not mean that every time when they just say let's change, let's just move. They said we should be moving with the flow. Dr. Messi said so. No, there's a need for you to balance it. It is not all the time that you may require to change the perspective or change the model. Not all the time. So you need to be able to be sensitive enough to know when you need to change and how you need to change and what you are changing from and what you're changing to. So you need to have clear direction, because whatever you are adapting to or adapting from must not move away from the vision, the values, and the mission of the institution or organization that you represent. So just because you have received this word of adaptability today does not mean that by the time you get to work on Monday, you are going to go and change everything. No, you need to be able to balance it. Some things have been working, they will continue to work. So there may not be a need for us to change them until it is needed. And there are some things that we may need to work around. So there's a need for you to understand and have clear direction, because anything you need to do or change from or move from should stay must still be within the vision. As I repeat, the vision, the mission, and the core values of the institution or organization that you represent. So immediately you move out of that vision and mission, then something is wrong. You're on your own. You're doing things by yourself. All right. I'm trying to run. I'm trying to run. I'm trying to run. So, as I have said, let me encourage us one more time. As I have said, sorry, it takes me 1 minute to move my slide. Continuous learning is key. Continuous learning is very key. Encouraging innovation. When you build an adaptive administration, it encourages innovation. People are able to come up with new ideas all the time. They're encouraged to come up with new ideas because they know that it's something that can be useful for the organization. And then it helps to empower employees in decision making. So you decentralize decision making. It's not just coming from just one person's intelligence. Everybody works together. So we have this collective intelligence. We're working together to get the best. And then we leverage technology, as we have said. So now coming to the question that I asked earlier, For those that are just joining, permit me to ask the question one more time. I have 3 questions, but time will not permit me to undo the 3, but let's just do one. So if the internet disappears today, as an administrator who is ready to adapt, what would you do? Or how will you maintain operations, communication, and productivity? Can we quickly just be typing that in the comment section? Just type it in the comment section. If you are on this call and you're listening to me and you can hear me clearly, the internet disappears today. Just imagine it. What will be your first move as an administrator? And how will you maintain operations, communication, and productivity? I'm looking forward to your responses. I'm looking forward to your answers. And of course, the second one, while you're typing that, is learning something new. When was the last time you had to learn something completely new on the job? How did you approach it, and what resources did you utilize? Those are the ways you can test your adaptability. And of course, consider a time when your original plan failed. How quickly did you adapt? What helped or hindered your ability to change course? If you can answer this question also, it will help to test your adaptability. I'm waiting for the responses on if internet stops working today, what will you do as an administrator? How will you maintain operations and communication and productivity? Are we saying that it is not possible? That if internet disappears, we're all done for. All right. So these scenarios helps us reflect on our own adaptability and identify areas for growth. They remind us that theoretical knowledge must be paired with practical application. So theoretical knowledge must be paired with practical application. So when you know these things, you need to be able to practice them, and that is when you will get the required answer or success that you desire. And in conclusion, adaptability is the new gold. Adaptability is the new gold. Mr. Lyon said, and I quote, adaptability is not about losing who you are. It's about becoming more of what the world needs you to be. Adaptability is not about losing who you are. It's about becoming more of what the world needs you to be. And the 21st century is not for the rigid or the fearful. It is for the bold, it is for the flexible and the courageous. Because adaptability will empower administrators not just to survive, but to thrive in uncharted terrains. Adaptability helps administrators not just to survive, but to thrive in uncharted terrain. So, as we journey further into the unknown, remember when the map fades, the adaptable mind becomes the compass. When the map fails or fades, the adaptable minds become the compass. The most successful administrators will be those who embrace change, learn continuously. I cannot learn continuously, and lead with both flexibility and purpose. And on this note, I want to say thank you for listening. God bless you.
There were no mistakes at all. LOC, do you agree with me that the choice of Dr. Messi was just perfect and excellent?
Very well, ma.
If you're a member of the LOC and you are there,
you are very correct, ma. You are very correct, ma.
Thank you so much.
Very well.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, let me see. Looks like Mr. Dari.
Apology, ma.
Is it back? Oh, beautiful.
It's affecting my network. Apology, please.
No problem, sir. I was just saying, Mr. Dari, that there was no mistake. Can you hear me, Mr. Dari?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly, ma.
I said I was just saying to the participants and the house that there was no mistake at all about our facilitator of today, that the LOC made no mistake whatsoever about her, and we're so excited. Please go ahead, Mr. Dari, now that you are back.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I said something earlier before the commencement of her presentation. I said, well, I've met her. She made an impression on me, but at the end of this presentation, we can make our own, we can make our own mind about her too. You agree with me that what I said earlier about her pans out in her presentation. I wrote with my sharp biro, and my jotters are loaded, really, really loaded. Thank you so very much, Ma, for that wonderful presentation. Thank you so very much. Well, one thing that ran very constant in all of the presentation we've had since Wednesday is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. And I was deliberate when I penned it down here in my note. Emotional intelligence is extremely important. And then what I know, the little I know about it is that you must first understand yourself before you can tackle any issue or relate with others. Once you understand who you are, your competencies, your shortcomings, your strength, everything about yourself, then you can now use that. You can now approach persons from that angle and relate, and that's how you get it better. It's like having a joker before you started the relationship in the first instance. So thank you so very much, ma. I would have loved to give a recap, but because of our time and this fluctuating network, I will quickly want to move to the next item. She asked a question earlier. Are we answering a question? There are about 3 questions she asked. Well, I've not seen any response to that. Please let's make attempt to respond to the questions. Thank you very much. While we are doing that, do we have any question for her personally as relating to her presentation? If we do that, if we do, please drop it in the chat box and we'll pick it from there. I'm sounding so loud because of the rain. So sorry. Am I still audible?
It's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You're still very audible and loud.
Exactly.
The impact of the rain.
Honestly, ma'am. So please let us begin to drop our questions and then we'll pick it from there, from the chat box. In the meantime, let's remember also to respond to the questions. Okay, I'm seeing some responses here from Steve Job. If there's no internet, if there's no more internet, I will leverage more telegrams, telephones, letter writing, etc. Okay, all right. Okay. Thank you.
Someone said, disappears, K.
Ma?
Yes, it can disappear. I said, someone wrote, disappear, K. Yes, it can disappear.
Oh, yes. Disappear, K. That is it. That's Olu. All right. In the absence of no question, with the permission of the convener, I want to invite her to make her closing remark this afternoon, even as we try as much as possible to manage our network. Thank you very much, Miss Adifunke Foloyiloye, please. The convener, ma. Your closing remark, ma. Hello. Am I still audible?
Yes, please.
Hello?
Yes, please, you are.
Dr. Bito, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir.
All right. Okay, I'm trying to invite the convener for her closing remark this afternoon, but her internet seems not to be cooperating.
Maybe while waiting for her, can we do appreciation?
Yes, okay. All right. Dr. Ibitoye, please, can you go ahead with appreciation while waiting for the convener? Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, I would like to say that this has actually been an explosive, it is an explosive presentation. and I am sure that you will all agree with me. It is explosive because we have been equipped with requisite knowledge to actually traverse uncharted terrains as administrators. Thank you very much, our dear administrator, an astute and seasoned administrator, for doing justice to the topic. We are grateful, ma'am. Likewise, on behalf of the host and the convener of the Administrators Hub, we would like to appreciate every member of this noble hub, as well as non-member, that has actually been following us keenly throughout our one-week events to celebrate the 2025 Administrative Professionals Week. Kudos to you all, and once again, congratulations to us. This afternoon, morning, or evening, depending on our location, please, I want to crave our indulgence to appreciate the host and the convener of the Administrators Hub for creating a platform like this for us, that is, for us administrators to actually learn, unlearn, relearn, and network. Ma, we are grateful. Thank you for creating this platform for us to actually thrive and become better. Thank you. God bless you, ma. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so very much. I'm still trying to reach out to the convener to get her closing remarks. All right, we may have to close because I'm sure that the network is a bit hazy around there, just like it is around here also. So once again, Dr. Agumadu, thank you so very much for that wonderful delivery.
Mhm.
Just a second, please. Yes, I just got all right. I just got a text from the convener saying that she's having a fluctuating internet. She will join us in a bit. So, well, I want to also let me continue with my appreciation of Dr. Agumadu. Thank you so very much for that wonderful delivery. It was
Mhm.
very succinct and very rich. As a matter of fact, it's the impression I had from that delivery is like going through a wild wind. And then it's a perfect testimony to learning, unlearning, and relearning. Thank you so very much, man. Now we seem to have the convener, Ms. Adefunke Fola Oyinloye. Welcome back, man.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sam. Dr. Mercy, you asked the question. You said, when the
Yes, ma'am. You
internet
may go ahead with your
fails,
closing remark,
what
ma'am.
do we do? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we can.
Beautiful. The question. She said, when the internet fails, what do we do? That was exactly what happened to me a few minutes ago. The internet failed. And I quickly sent a text message to Mr. Sam and said, keep that program on until I'm able to fix this. I believe that in the next 5 minutes thereabout, my internet will come back. And so that was just a practical example of when internet fails and adaptability. And that takes me to something else. Sometimes during this week, Mr. Samdari was supposed, I think on Wednesday, was supposed to anchor
Yes.
the event we had on Wednesday. And just about 30 minutes, am I correct, to the time, or 20 minutes, he sent me a message and said, Ma, I'm in a meeting. I'm not able to get out of this meeting. What do we do? And I sent him a message. I said, no problems. And immediately I began to make other arrangements to have somebody else anchor the program. And
Internet. Network challenge. We must Someone this network challenge. Hey,
That's serious.
honestly, she's
Yes.
really having. I thought mine would be worse.
I'm back again. I'm back again.
You're
So
welcome
I'll
back,
quickly
ma'am.
say this. And then he said, thank you so much. And then he said, at the end of the day, we're having a meeting in the evening, myself, himself, and Dr. Ibitoye, and he said, Ma, you were so calm when I said that thing to you. And I've noticed it with you for a while now. Now, I am a very temperamental person, and we all know that emotional intelligence and being temperamental, highly temperamental, they don't go hand in hand. And I've started to work on myself. And I said to him, if I was agitated when you told me that, I would not be able to think through a solution. But because I wasn't agitated, and it's something that I'm beginning to practice over and again. In fact, when it's time to rate on emotional intelligence in time, I rate myself very low because I am temperamental. I'm an impatient person. I want to see results. But we should be able to balance all of these things with Dr. Mercy is smiling because I know she's also like that. We should be able to balance all of those things with emotional intelligence, which we are, working at. And that is all what adaptability is. And we're able to have that event on Wednesday without anybody knowing that we had any issue. Now, to the question that Dr. Mercy asked earlier on, that if internet disappears, what do we do? My answer, I think, because there will always be another way out. Think out another solution. Think out another solution. Think out another solution. I don't know if she has any other answer, but I think the best thing to do is to think out a solution, because there will be several ways of getting a thing done. I once had an upline, a very senior upline, who was excellent driven. You can't fault her for that. And so anytime I'm going to make a presentation to her, I have like 3 choices. So that if she says no to one, she will get another one. She says no to one. And over time, I got used to a demand for excellence. And there are climbs now that I will get to. And persons will tell me, you're exactly like that person when it comes to excellence. And so what am I saying? We should keep learning. We should keep looking for the ways of doing things. We should not be resistant to change so that we can make the best of all that we do. I'm so excited about this afternoon. I'm excited about the entire International Administrative Professionals Week and all the events that we have had. I'm so excited that the Administrators Hub is championing the spread of celebrating administrators in Nigeria. And I can see more and more organizations joining us in doing this as the years roll by. I want to appreciate everyone who has been a tremendous part of this event since Sunday. We can go back home now today and relax. It's been demanding, it's been exciting, it's been fulfilling, it's been impactful, it's been resourceful. I want to thank everybody. I'll be sending out my appreciations later today. Thank you so much for being a part of what we do. We get messages encouraging us to continue with what we're doing, and that we're making impact. And we're so happy that we're part of all that we're doing. For everyone who has been a part of this event, I want to say thank you. Members of the LOC who did put together all the things, that all the events and the programs. Thank you so much for everything that you do. For our moderators, citation readers, our facilitators, and most importantly, our participants. Because what will it be? What will be the essence of our gathering together if there are no persons listening to us? We want to deeply appreciate every one of you for all that you have done to make a series of events in the last 1 week a huge success. And we want to say over and again, let's continue to do this together. I want to thank all my associates. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What is the essence of a vision without people to drive it with you? Thank you for all that you have done. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, ma. Thank you very
Thank you,
much,
ma.
ma. When the convener has spoken, I think that is final. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Agumadu. It's a pleasure having you here today. Dr.
Thank you
Bitoye.
very much, ma. Thank you very much, ma.
All
Thank you,
right.
sir.
To all participants, see you next year, 2026. Bye.
Bye.
Wow.